Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. This time, Wolf in the Fold. It's kind of a Scotty episode. You saw it. I was going to call it a Halloween episode. That was Catspaw. This is Jack the Ripper. He lives. Anyway, you know all that. Some other stuff you might know. You can help us out by going to patreon.com/IABD. Go there and support us. Support the things we do. You'll get special content. We're throwing the tent at you. Special content. Sneak preview episodes. Content. Additional content. Behind the scenes stuff. Merchandise? Maybe. Speaking of merchandise, go to the IABD store. You can get it as well. You don't even have to wait for a special offer from patreon.com. You can just go pick it up. Signed scripts, t-shirts, and more. It's all there. Go check it out. And now, check out what the guys got to say. Before we dive into this, I want to thank our editors, Ando Schaefer, David Huff. Been doing a great job, obviously. That's why you don't know how poorly I did with this intro. That doesn't matter. Enjoy this. It's us talking about Wolf in the Fold on It's All Been Trekked Before. Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. We have we do that sometimes. We have most of the same hosts as last week.
This is Steven.
And Keith.
Jimmy-Jerome, and we welcome back guest star
Jessica.
Hopefully, regular guest star.
I'm trying.
I'm
trying.
She's a busy gal, so we'll just have to look at the schedule. But we are talking the episode Wolf in the Fold. Mm-hmm. First impressions.
It was entertaining. There were some jarring things that they were saying in the beginning about the prescription for resentment towards women, for example.
So at least this episode didn't have any sexism in it.
Right? Like, no.
Well,
None at all.
We frequently spend parts of these episodes talking about the sexism.
yeah.
You missed season 1, but in the first 6 episods,
Yeah.
Janice Rand, the yeoman that used to
Was
work
essentially,
at
yeah.
sexually assaulted 4 times in a row, 4 episodes in a row.
Wow.
More or less.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the 60s. It wasn't as sexist as everything else on television. Does not make it not sexist.
Yeah.
Certainly not graphically assaulted, but
Right.
the implication
Just
of what they
different-
were doing was there.
I think once we saw the assault.
It was a day at the Weinstein Company. Yeah, I worked it back in.
Oh, God.
We definitely do not hide how early we record these, current event-wise. Because this won't come out for months.
You're right.
Well.
But yeah, this is probably the most sexist episode of season 2 we've seen.
Well, it's
I think.
essentially there are other sexist things that come up,
Sure.
but
There's a certain offhandedness to it in this that is very...
it's
Very casual.
It's very
Yeah.
Navy
Yeah.
guys in a port.
Well, it
port
was
of call.
very, that's just the way it is, guys. Women are natural, they're just more afraid of things.
Right.
Well,
No,
that
women are more
What?
easily and deeply terrified.
Yeah, that's to me that's more sexist than all the strip bars because it's a strip bar planet or not a strip bar planet. It's a pleasure planet. They're at a strip bar. They're guys. It's a Navy port of call.
Sure.
But yeah, that line was
Oh,
just,
yeah, I didn't have a
Well,
problem with her
I
dancing.
love the look on the
I-
face of Yeaman Tankers, played by Judith McConnell. She's just like, what? 'Cause it's
I
just
wonder
like
do you think it was a reaction? They held the camera on it
Yeah,
for quite a while. Was it a reaction shot?
I
that she
think
was
I
like,
hope
"Ugh."
so because it looks
Yeah.
like she's just like, what kind of BS did you just say?
Yeah.
Because I'm not buying any of it. It was
Yeoman, what was her name?
Tankris, Tankris.
See, because it seemed hard for me to I would be surprised if they actually let her give that kind of a reaction. I
Right.
thought there was more like, here's an example of a woman, not really like saying...
I feel like it was a shot of
terrifying
Bach
woman.
or whoever, and she just happened to be in the shot, and I don't know if she snuck it in or she was reacting to something else, but it was right after that line. And I was just like, that's awesome.
It wasn't the dancing in the opening that offended me and struck me as overly sexist. It was Scotty was hurt by an explosion that was caused by a woman.
yes.
So now he hates women.
Yeah.
Well,
And that was okay. That's what's expected.
Well,
that to me was like, oh God, this just got really sexist.
Well,
I think they were
And
speculating.
this episode came
I don't
around
care.
for me.
I don't care.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. If you step on my foot, Keith, I do not hate all men.
If you were ever thrown against a bulkhead, you would feel different.
I disagree.
if Keith did it.
Yes.
I would hate all of you men now.
But it's-
It was just such a stupid premise.
Well,
Yeah.
that's my I came around this episode. It is entertaining, I think. to
Yeah.
Keith's
Oh, it
point.
was very
I
entertaining.
found it entertaining.
Very entertaining.
I didn't necessarily love it or think it was good, but it was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many suspensions of disbelief you have to do. And that's the first one they said, like, well, we have to make you believe, first of all, that Scotty's got a problem with women because one of them got him hurt. Give him a concussion.
He's clearly into this
Yes.
dancer.
Right.
Yeah, but, it looks like he's getting over it now. It's like, yeah, sex helps out with everything.
Yeah, and Kirk
To be fair, it does. But
and McCoy totally like playing the pimp, like making sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're taking you and getting
Oh
you a
yeah.
hooker.
He's like, I invited her to the table.
Yeah.
I
And
was like,
McCoy's
"You
like,
do."
hey, I get credit. It was my idea.
well, yeah, Kirk's like, well, I'm a good captain, or whatever he says, or whatever. He
Takes care of his men. Takes care of his men.
Yeah, it reminded me of the
Yeah.
cut scene in Apocalypse
Oof.
Now that's in the Apocalypse Now Redux where Martin Sheen gets them to hang out with the Playmates. It's like I said, it's Navy, it's military guys in a protocol.
I wrote down Kirk knows all the strippers.
And yeah,
And he does.
He
And
knows
McCoy
the place.
knows all the strip clubs.
yeah,
Yes,
So-
he does. McCoy was
The
clearly
one where they're,
super
oh, I know the place.
Oh, I know.
yeah. I'd
The
like
women
to,
are just so. I really want to know how that sentence ended.
Yeah. They,
Like,
I think
what's
they,
the word
they
that comes
jumped away
after
from it.
so?
right.
friendly.
So censored. That is what.
Because I can't imagine ever describing a place. Hey, Woos and Keith, let's go where the women are so.
Dot.
Yeah, like
Oh,
how
we
would I
know.
finish that sentence?
It's a match game question. Yeah,
But McCoy needs.
Sorry,
my
Jess, I didn't invite
explanation.
you. Do you want to go where the women are so?
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I need to know what the
smart.
dot.
Smart is the word.
Smart. So intelligent and
Yes.
cultured.
Yes.
Oh.
And not fearful at all.
Wait, where is this place?
The world.
Yeah, she was wearing the dancer lady. She was wearing those uncomfortable plastic hula skirts.
Yeah.
Oh,
and in
yeah.
her hair.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like,
and
ugh.
I didn't have any problem with that because she
Right,
was
it's-
hot and that's what they
No,
were
mine
going
was more
for.
like, oh, that's so uncomfortable. I hate
Yeah.
I really like the dance at the beginning. It's
It was just Venus dance all over
Yeah.
again from the cage.
The opening shot, though, the face and the neck
Yeah.
work.
I was more interested in the other dancers. They were more scantily clad, and then
Yeah.
the women just hanging around. And I feel like now, if they did that scene, it'd be like a hookah. They'd be
Yeah.
doing drugs and everything else. But speaking of censors, her belly button was covered because they thought
Yeah.
it might be.
Oh,
too
that
much.
little flower
Yeah.
petal
Yeah.
thing. Oh my god! I
And
forget-
in
it's
the
so-
script, and it didn't make any much sense, but initially, well, I guess it does make sense, but they were going to be layered colors of drink. So, like
Like a Mai Tai.
Yeah.
Made properly.
Yeah, so you'd see, but the censors, and Robert Bloch, who wrote it, his idea was if you drank the first level, you'd get giggly, you might get
Oh,
different
I like
emotions
that.
with different things.
That's really interesting. Why wouldn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, they were like, we don't have enough money to do that.
That's some good sci-fi.
Yeah, and second, the censors were like, no, people think they're taking drugs. Because
Well.
you don't want people to think
Forgot
that.
60s and
But now it-
the,
but
we can't subvert
Then
the
I
kids
thought,
anymore. And
I
they're
was like,
doing-
okay, all right, fine. But then when Lieutenant Tracy gets killed, she's laying on her stomach, and they're okay with a total, not
Her
quite,
undies.
not quite an upskirt shot, but like, let's make sure her panties are showing.
It's like the cheerleader panties that aren't real
Spanx
panties,
or
like
something.
right,
like
yeah,
over top. of
yeah,
pants.
whatever they,
Yeah.
yeah. Still,
I mean,
they're like,
they didn't just rip off the Vina music. The whole club looked like Vina's club.
It
You
was,
remember
yeah.
the Dancing Green Girl?
Yeah.
It looked like that club. The way they were lounging at the low tables, the dance, the music was the
Well,
same.
maybe that's where it's
I was like,
based
they're
on.
just not green. And they're Arkellian instead of Orion.
Right,
But it's
right.
basically the same.
She had her little like castanets that
Yes.
she didn't actually click
Yeah.
together. They were just there.
I wonder why they didn't
Oh,
just
yeah.
paint them green.
well, that was my next
Budget?
question. Was maybe it was a budget thing. They didn't want to paint them all green, so it couldn't be Orion. So they
But it
came up with
could've
a new planet.
Could have been continuity though. It could have been like the fantasy was based on.
Oh, that's
an
true too.
amalgamation
That's
of,
true.
Oh, this is that place. And-
Oh, that's true. Because we weren't actually in the Orion space. It was a fantasy. You're right.
And again, it's one of those things where, like, well, it's Argelis. Not just this place can be a pleasure area on the planet. It can't just be New Orleans on this planet. The entire planet is a pleasure planet.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because in Star Trek, all planets are homogeneous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the dancer Kara was played by Tanya Lamani, famous for That Tender Touch
Huh.
and Big Daddy. Not the Adam
guess everybody knew
Sandler,
about
but a
Touch.
1960s version.
Just a joke that just sailed right by.
Yeah. She died too quickly.
Speaking of Lieutenant Tracy, this was her last TV appearance.
Karen Tracy, Virginia Aldridge.
Yeah, this is her last TV appearance.
Wait, who
Really?
was she in the?
Yeah.
what did
Because
do?
she was dead.
She's the one who got stabbed. Yeah, I
Oh.
guess. Yeah.
She was accidentally killed for real while they were filming it.
Yeah, I don't know if she did. At least what I read was this was her last appearance. I don't.
I mean, she was
Maybe she switched
best
to
known
movies.
for writing.
Oh, that's
juvenile
possible.
prisons.
That's
She
possible.
was a writer for the Beauty and the Beast television show.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, and she
All right.
wrote on the Fame television show.
Oh.
So it looks like, yeah, she wasn't acting anymore, but she was a writer
Oh, cool.
Okay.
after that,
Good to know.
through the 70s and 80s.
Fame was a good show.
She wrote an episode of Dallas, a couple episodes of Knight Rider, wrote an episode of Twilight Zone.
All right.
So yeah.
What was the Twilight Zone episode? Does it say?
Yeah, it's
Is it one of the new ones?
no, from 1987. It was
Newish.
newish. So the episode was called The Card / The Junction. It was 2 different stories, and she wrote the Junction part of it.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, she only has 12 acting credits, and she wrote for 7 television shows, so not a lot of credits, but yeah, she wrote for some good stuff. I don't know how she did because she was a woman, and clearly she was
Oh.
by her terror and
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Twilight Zone episode was the one funny one because it scared her too much. To write.
right. Yeah, she could write a scary Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, while we're on Scotty and all this stuff,
Okay.
they say he's suffering from a severe concussion.
Yes.
Why is he even up and about?
Drinking alcohol, hanging
Yeah.
out.
Well, I mean, what is McCoy? What is he, former NFL trainer? I mean, what the hell?
Well, they keep
And then
him
they
awake.
just send him off on his own to have sex.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on here?
At least McCoy should have said, make sure you don't fall asleep afterwards.
Wake him up every hour on the hour, please. Yeah, if he's got a severe concussion, he should not be anywhere. No wonder he thinks all women are going to kill him.
Yeah.
If they're terrible. He's got a problem.
They said that he might have that issue, but
Yeah.
he never once in that episode demonstrated any hatred towards women.
Yeah.
No. Or
It seemed like
concussion.
they could have been joking or something, but still.
I don't think they were.
It's
I
hard
think
to-
they taking it seriously.
Yeah, I wish he demonstrated concussion, just kept repeating the same thing.
Yeah, James Doohan could have really had fun with that if they'd given him a little freedom.
Well, didn't the computer say he's got an abnormality? Didn't they say? It's like, this man should be in sick bay.
So when he's got a concussion, all he wants to do is talk about Aberdeen and back in the Scottish Highlands.
And the fog.
I mean, it was almost like Brigadoon. Like, is he going to go to a magical world when he goes into the fog? It only appears once every 100 years.
Oof.
I guess I don't know why I felt I was a little bit more irritated than I would have expected with the way that he seemed to be so pleased with himself. For like, I'm laying down really good game right now by talking about the fog of Aberdeen and just like, oh, I've got her now.
With a dancer who's been
Yeah.
paid to come here.
And then something,
Yeah.
you're pretty sure Scotty murders the first girl. So then you put him alone in a room with another girl.
Right.
Then you're pretty sure he murders her. And nobody's got handcuffs on him. He's sitting around.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can sit next to the one woman in the room and hold her hand.
Right?
Like, we're not going to do anything to watch you.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there were other men in that room, but you still don't put him right next to her and let her
Right.
hold hands.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was dumb.
Like, just keep giving him opportunity. Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Like, we're not sure he's a killer, but the way we're going to test it is give him more opportunity and see if he kills.
Well, how's you gonna know? Can't test a cure unless you.
The one thing that did bother me, though, is they said that if he was found guilty, he would get death by slow torture.
Slow torture.
And I thought
Specifically.
the episode should have been he was being slowly tortured while they worked to clear his name.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, oh, that was just a throwaway line.
Well, yeah, and when they kept insisting about, oh, we can go and use our computer, I was like, do these people trust computers? They don't look like they got any computers.
Right.
They
Well,
look
yeah,
like they'd
the guy's
be
like, oh, my wife's dead, but I'll trust these guys and their technology.
And the death by slow torture had the little da-da-da or whatever. It's like, yeah. After you said death, I didn't hear anything you said after that. I just heard death. So that's
I would say slow torture is probably worse than just death.
probably.
Probably.
But
Yeah, they're like, we just never bothered to update our laws.
Yeah,
It's what
yeah,
they just sounded
yeah.
like. They're not super concerned that all these people just got murdered. They're like, but we never bothered to change our laws, so
Well,
like you will be tortured.
It
almost-
sounded like they hadn't had murder there in a long, long
Right.
time.
Yeah, 'cause they're-
he almost sounded embarrassed about it, like slow torture. That's the way we do it.
Yeah.
The Republicans in Congress wouldn't get rid of it, so, you know.
You killed my wife, but
Yeah, he was real chill with his wife being killed.
he was more upset with the other
Yeah.
diplomat guy than you were.
Hengist.
When did his wife die? I'm sorry, was that the third woman?
She was
Yes,
the same
the
last
Asian-
person.
Okay.
Yeah, that
oh,
was
right.
doing the
That's
mental thing.
yeah, right. Yes.
So we should try to pick up who some of these people were. Jarrus was the main guy, right? That
Was
led
that
the planet.
Yeah.
Charles
Yeah.
Got killed.
Macaulay.
He was in Return of the Archons too,
Yes, he
Yeah.
looked familiar.
and he was also the guy at the end of Perry Mason's run. He was the attorney that always lost to Perry Mason.
Oh,
So the highest
poor guy.
official.
Yeah.
But the main.
I liked the prefect. I thought he was cool.
And then we had
Very well spoken, I
he
think.
was,
Yeah, great voice.
He was calm. He
Yeah.
took things in stride.
Well, and I think that was at least trying to give that the idea that planet was very much we're peace loving, we're a pleasure planet.
Yeah.
My thought was it's not a perfect analogy, but like if you go to like on vacation to the Caribbean or New Orleans, Las Vegas, everybody there is there to have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously people there to take your money too, but
Right.
but in general, ideally, that the plan is everyone's there to have fun and relax and have a good time.
So what that guy's best known for is he played the president in Splash.
Oh wow,
And he also was Dracula in the movie
Blackula, yeah.
Interesting.
One thing I noticed about some of these episodes this season, or at least recently, is that they've been doing a better job of, I guess, writing officials that aren't just complete,
True.
jerks and
Jerks,
just
yeah.
Are just the
incompetent.
obstacle of the story.
Yeah.
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 Like
I mean,
even the
he
Commodore
let
a
things
couple
go
episodes
on.
ago
Yeah.
Yeah.
was fairly reasonable
Mhm.
given things that were happening. It was kind of like we should be going, but at the same time, it wasn't like the kind of complete just hysterics just all the time.
Yeah, and the guy, the main antagonist dude, was the voice of Piglet.
Yes.
I was like,
Mm.
oh,
What?
So that
it's
was
Piglet.
Yeah.
Guys, John
Like
Fielder.
Winnie the Pooh, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't realize the little bald guy. Every time he kept
Yeah.
talking, I was like, and he'd get upset, and I'm like, yeah, go complain to Rabbit. I
I
mean,
was like,
Yeah,
oh my
he's-
God.
he's-
he was also in 12 Angry Men. He was jury number 2.
He's literally
What?
yeah, he's literally
What
the
are the
guy
odds of-
who's in everything, like
So you
especially 60s
And he was
and
one
70s.
of the buddies in the Odd Couple movie
Yeah.
with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. He was in The Emperor's New Groove. He did a voice. Yeah, he's got like almost 200 acting credits.
He was in the original production of Odd Couple on Broadway.
He still did Piglet up through 2005.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
only been replaced
But
recently.
yeah, every time. And then whenever he was in the computer and it kept going
Uh-huh.
back and forth, he sounded like Ursula. Little
Yeah,
Mermaid,
he did.
when she's
Oh.
like huge. You can't stop me. I can't do it, but it like went
I
back
love
and
the
forth
voice for
between
that actually.
Piglet and Ursula. I was like, oh.
Yeah, hearing evil Piglet was kind of unsettling.
Was that him
Yeah.
doing the computer?
Yeah.
So did you know who he was, Jessica? Did you know who he was right away because you reacted when he was on screen? Like it's that guy. Like I didn't.
As soon as you heard his voice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
And
what-
his face. I knew his face because
Oh,
he's
did
been
you? Yeah,
in
he's-
a
he's
lot
Well,
of
been
12
in-
Angry
stuff.
Men's the movie I remember him from.
Yeah.
most.
In the 60s and 70s,
But
he was
he's
in
guest starred
everything.
in
Oh,
all
he's
kinds
a ton
of
of
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like my
He's-
parents would watch reruns
got, like,
of
yeah,
things all the
credits.
time, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I
Ah.
recognize him.
He was in a lot of the Disney live action stuff in the 70s, and yeah, he was, and he did a lot of commercial voiceovers too. And
Yeah.
stuff, so yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
he-
had to check. I had to check IMDb to make sure. I was like, it's Piglet.
I mean, he has so many good credits.
Oh yeah,
He was in The Fox and the Hound. He was in an episode of Cheers. I mean, just
yeah,
Yeah, he's
Well,
in, like if it was a TV show.
yeah.
The
He's
Monsters
on.
Beware.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, and of course, tons and tons of different Winnie the Poohs.
Yeah, he's so tiny.
He
Yeah,
is.
which makes it
Except
ideal that
his
he is
stunt
the bad
double.
guy. Well,
Except his
oh
giant
my
stunt
god,
who
double.
looked nothing like him.
no.
Oh my god.
So I have to reiterate, since I mean I haven't said this on mic yet, but at the time it was the strangest thing is they cut to a stunt double so we could kind of run around the table, then they cut back to the regular actor to take a punch,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then back to the stunt double again so we could lay down on the ground and then.
I'm
back
guessing
again.
the original part was so he could because he does a scissors kick to
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does the.
To-
But he like does it off of
Yeah,
the table.
it was
so
like
I'm I'm
parkour.
pretty sure he could have done that.
Scissor-
Like I could do that
scissor-
kick.
I don't- well, I think you're probably a little bit more fit than the actor that
Probably.
was.
But I was just like, did we need a stunt double? for
Yeah,
that?
Not really.
No.
And nobody else was stunt double, just him. Which made it like, and they didn't even try to match the hair and stuff.
No,
it was
he
just
was just
like a
full
ball
ball
cap.
cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and if it's we don't know if the actor can do that scissors kick. You know what? Just make it a punch. Did he have to be that kind of? I mean, it looked great, except for the fact we were all laughing about the guy with the
Yeah.
skull cap on.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing.
Maybe you couldn't run that fast or something. Or...
Maybe.
I just noticed the yeoman you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Tancress.
Yeah.
That was played by Judith McConnell. She still has acting
She's
credits
still
this year.
She's still acting. Yeah,
active.
yeah.
She did a couple episodes of Cougar Town. I love Cougar Town.
Yeah. She's on Santa Barbara for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's what she's best
Those are
known
big,
for.
yeah. But she's
She
done
was
a lot of
in The
stuff too.
Purge, Anarchy.
Yeah, she was just in that. Yeah.
Which The Purge is just a ripoff of a Star Trek episode we already
Yes.
saw. It is.
Return of the Archons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything rips off Star Trek. That's what we're learning watching this. And
Well,
and what's crazy is when you look up a lot of these things, the writers and the director and the producer are like, yeah, no, totally, we got that from Star Trek.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're just saying that. Ben Stiller's production company is named after original series Star Trek episode. Yeah, it's crazy how much came out of Star
For
Trek.
some reason, Return of the Archons is his favorite episode.
For a failed television show that only got 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
It really spawned a lot of junk
Yeah.
over the last 50 years.
when I started watching it, though, I was telling my dad,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I started watching this. And he's like, no, it didn't last very long, but that was like a big thing to be a guest star on that show.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to guest star. Like, he's like, I remember that. And I was like, oh. Wow.
It was the first show that really made use of syndication. That was they did reruns for.
Yeah.
And that's what made the show popular is people didn't watch it in its first run, but people loved it after it was canceled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it just built and built and built and built and built. And yeah, we'll get into more of that in later episodes. But here we sit 51 years later, over 51 years later.
Well, and
It's
a lot of
crazy.
these actors, we look up different guest stars. I mean,
They had some
they
good
show up
guest
and they
stars.
show up at conventions.
And
They're like,
they
we
still
know
do.
them.
Yeah.
The guy who I kept saying, oh, he's the killer, he's in a whole bunch of stuff too.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
I recognize his
I recognize
face.
him too, and I didn't
And
look him
I
up.
think the dad of the dancer,
Yeah.
he looks really familiar too. Like,
Yeah, I think
was like, a lot of these people.
The guy who thought he was in love with the girl, but she wasn't in love with him.
Yeah.
So
I know
Joseph Bernard was
I think
one
he's done
of
a lot of
them.
westerns.
He's best known for Judgment at Nuremberg and a bunch of. He's got 58 credits. Charles Dierkop, who was the fiance or ex-fiance.
okay.
The Sting is one of the things he's
Okay,
best known
yeah.
for. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
Yeah,
Kid.
like I said, I knew he was in some westerns.
So
Yeah.
these guys are
Yeah, he
serious.
he talks like he's in
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah.
This episode has so many good guest stars.
Yeah.
This episode alone, there's like 8 of them.
Yeah.
And that's the last episode we watched, there was one notable guest star?
Gary Vicker.
Yeah, and now we've got all of these people. Embarrassment of riches in a lackluster episode. It was fun.
It was a
wasn't
colorful
good.
episode.
Caleb made it fun.
Yeah.
Kirk's awesome uniform.
Oh, the
The
wraparound?
wraparound shirt.
That
You
was
don't know.
so great.
He wears it like half the episodes.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's his casual wear.
Really?
But he never
it's
takes
so
it off.
fancy
I have
though. It's
Yeah.
so fancy.
Oh, Moose for Halloween
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
Yeah, dressed in like wraparound.
That asymmetrical hem. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gold trim.
So Shatner liked to have his
Nice.
shirt ripped a lot to show off his abs, but when he's not ripping his shirt, he's wearing that because it's got the deep V-neck, so you can
Right.
see.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's a great
I was
shirt.
like, oh,
Yeah, he wears it a lot. If you keep watching, you'll see it.
it's
a lot.
Stylish.
He's the only one that gets that variant.
Mhm.
Everybody else
Sad.
wears the regular uniform.
Sad.
I know. If we could see Spock in that,
I know. I was like, Spock in this outfit.
Spock would never wear that outfit.
I don't care.
McCoy's got the short sleeves.
He
I can see
didn't have
Sulu
them.
with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't wear
He
the short
covered
sleeves
his
all the time.
arms. I was like, damn it.
Hmm.
Super sad.
Sulu had such a small part, but it was so good.
He was so
What was the line I wrote down? Whoever he is, he sure talks gloomy. I
Yeah.
was just like, yes.
Well, when Kirk asked McCoy about having a tranquilizer, he's like, I gotta know if I can tranquilize a volcano. I was just like, everyone's getting messed up now. And I forgot that that's what happened at the end of the episode.
And you were correct.
That was
Kirk being
hilarious.
all like, oh, you guys are all high. I want to go party, but I'm not doing it by myself because clearly I can't pick up women on my own.
Right. That
He
didn't
was
make any
being
sense.
responsible, though, not taking his intoxicated
That's
friends out
true.
with him.
Mm.
That's good.
And he's like, hey, Spock. And Spock's like,
No.
honey, we talked about this.
Well, I just imagine Spock being the sober guy at a party with a bunch of drunk a-holes.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my god. But he probably feels that way all the time, but
Yeah.
especially in this episode.
He had so much arm crossing going on this episode.
Yeah.
He's just like,
He had very few
What?
lines this episode. He was kind of
Yeah.
minimized. Yeah, Kirk was, of course, doing the hero thing where, of course, he's not going to get tranked when everybody else
Right.
does. And it made no sense, like, once they tranked Piglet, why didn't Jack the Ripper jump into Kirk?
Right.
Because he's, like, the one that's
Because they
not
hinted
tranked.
at it.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, Kirk should have been possessed right there.
Yeah.
So Kirk never got tranked?
No. He was the one.
But he was acting like at the end.
He and Spock
He
were
did
the
it.
two sober people in the entire crew.
So he's just possessing a dead guy?
Yes.
Because they're like,
Well, they came back to
"Oh, he's
life.
dead, Jim."
Yeah.
But he's just possessing a corpse.
Yeah.
Weird.
So when they beamed him out into space, he was already dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because when that thing left his body, the body was dead.
Yeah.
So then he only reanimated when he jumped back into the body.
Now, how did he die from the punch?
I don't think he
I don't
died
think
from the
No.
punch. I think he was
just a
already
corpse.
dead.
The corpse was already so he
Oh,
jumped
he'd
out of
been
it.
dead for a
Yeah.
while.
That's what I think. It
Since
was.
Rigel 4.
I did like that
Rigel was.
explanation that it jumped from planet to planet and they could track a straight line out.
Right.
I thought that was cool.
I thought most of Spock's dialogue was to try and justify this bizarre
well,
thing, which was fine, but
but I believed that it was a being we would recognize because, as Kirk says, I've encountered this before. We've already had episodes where we saw beings that lived forever and were gaseous and like it fit with what we'd seen. That wasn't my problem with the episode, but I thought it was cool they tracked that line of planets.
I was just thinking about that. I mean, there were things about the episode, like the later half of it, that I enjoyed.
The latter half was better.
I enjoyed
for
the discussion going on in the courtroom and so forth. But yeah, I mean, but when you started looking at the details of what they were doing, they kept making these little sloppy mistakes as far as like jumping. Oh, unquestionably, it's Jack the Ripper because of everything we've learned so far.
I felt like you had to
Yeah.
do a lot of suspending of
The
disbelief.
line,
in this episode.
everything we've uncovered points to Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
30 seconds after they learned that Jack the Ripper.
Right.
It's like, really? Everything?
Well, and then it leads them to, like, they come to the conclusion basically that it's a ghost, but
Yeah.
no one ever says it's a ghost.
Well, in fact, they say it's not a ghost.
Well, until
When he
Piglet, then
says
he's
that.
like, "Oh, these fairy tales and ghost stories.
Yeah,
Well,
he's trying to
that's
deflect
not
it.
true.
No,
That's
That's
not
great.
real."
yeah.
So Jack the Ripper made me wonder, of course, how many of the people in that room were based from Earth, and why was he that famous still? That everyone was just immediately, oh yeah, I know all about Jack the Ripper.
Well, I watched some of the people from that planet. They were just in the back like,
Yeah.
No.
Those aliens didn't know. But I mean, think about how far in our history it already is now, and we all know who Jack the Ripper is.
Well,
I mean,
sort of.
there's-
We never found out.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
still
they're
don't
probably
know.
still making TV movies about Jack the Ripper in
Yeah.
the 23rd century.
Well, and I love that the list the computer went through, and so we got these other mass murderers. And it
Well,
just-
that too is a great detail.
sadly, it just made me think of America these days, and it,
Mm.
yeah. So I was just like, wow, that could. And that's why the computer's like, I could go on, but I'm not going to, because it's
Yeah.
like you would never stop talking. So if you imagine all the other planets, it's got to be mass murders other places.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think
Maybe not.
they were only doing stabbings of women in succession.
Right.
So
Yeah, that unexplained,
Breed.
never caught,
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper style killing. But yeah, no, I actually thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought it was really dumb the way they're like, oh, the computer can totally map our mind and everything. I'm like, really? Because you could have used that in other episodes we've already
Yes.
seen.
Yep. I
Only
mean,
this episode.
lie detectors have really improved in the future.
And what's a psycho tricorder?
has that come up before?
No.
No.
And I don't think it comes up again.
We never get to see it used because poor Lieutenant Tracy gets
Oh,
stabbed.
poor Karen Tracy. I was actually like, why did you even bother to name her? Because she
Right.
had 2 lines, then you kill her.
Prime DB later, they knew that was going to happen.
I mean, she has a first and last name. So many of the crewmen we meet don't have that. It felt very weird.
Yeah.
It was almost like, okay, we're going to tell you who she is so you don't think she's going to die, even though we're sending her to a certain death.
Yeah.
That might be true,
They also
actually.
deceived you with her blue science outfit.
Well, blues for science and medical, so...
She means
Yeah.
not a red shirt, so.
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotcha. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Well, yeah, the women that die can wear any color. It's the men that are red shirt. Well, so the red shirts are for engineering and security, and the security part of that is why so many red shirts die, because they're usually the security officer that beams down to the planet. So it makes sense from that perspective. Other random notes. McCoy intercepts the beverage they're trying to give to Scotty, and then he doesn't test it or anything, he just hands it to Scotty, let Scotty drink it. Like, why intercept it? And then just like, oh, here, drink this.
Sometimes McCoy's a little lax. We talked about.
Yeah.
He's just got
lazy.
frostbite. He'll be fine.
I also, I realized this was the 60s and forensics wasn't a big thing yet, but they get the blade and then clean it.
Yeah.
I was like, where?
I liked when they showed the blade on the screen to examine.
Yeah.
And it had
Oh,
hands.
yes. Uh-huh. Here it is. the handle. Like it was in a museum.
Yeah.
Like,
I liked instead of applauding, you were supposed to use the lights.
Oh.
That was kind of a nice
I didn't catch
little
that. I just
touch.
The what?
caught him talking.
Oh,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Scotty's pounding on the
I like
table,
that,
and they're
yeah.
like, "No, on this planet,
Yeah.
we get the lights."
I
like,
remember
don't
that.
tell me what to do.
Yeah, now Regine, we do this.
Yeah.
I thought Spock had a really out of character line where he's like, "Well, why don't you just beam Scotty back and deploy our computers to learn the truth?" When Spock's the one who would have totally been like, "No, we have to respect local customs."
Right.
And Kirk has to mansplain.
Yeah.
Does
Or
he
Kirk
usually?
explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt like a one where
should have
Shatner's
been
like,
the other way around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Kirk was like, or Shatner was like, "No, I get that dialogue." Yeah.
It's interesting when you can point things, or you can like.
You
Yeah.
can
Those
see
kinds of
where
things.
Shatner sold
Yeah,
the
because
lines.
it doesn't make sense for Spock to say
No,
that.
Spock
Or
would
to not
totally,
get that.
Yeah, Spock would get that from the beginning. What else? Oh, they said that they didn't account for Hengeist
Yeah.
during the murder of Tracy, the second
yeah,
death,
yeah.
but he was retrieving those other two people. So
Oh, yeah.
how did he
They
get
were
down to the
also-
chamber?
That cracked me up because he's like, you guys were present when the murder took place. On the night the murder took place, and I was like earlier tonight.
But I felt like
That-
we never fully explained how he committed the second murder. I don't think he could have committed the second
Well,
murder.
unless you were lying about where he
Possessed
was. I
someone
mean,
else.
he could have taken
Yeah.
any number. I guess what they're saying is they couldn't see him.
He
was
could have
out of
easily
their
killed
sight.
her and went and got those
Yeah.
guys.
But wouldn't one of those other guys be like, "Oh, but a few minutes ago, you told me to meet you there outside the door, and we were waiting for you to come in." Like he walks in with those two guys a minute later.
He was pretty efficient because there were like 9 or 10 stab wounds in her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you probably.
Well-
We don't set the door. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom. Instead, he ran.
I take it back.
downstairs
Maybe
and
they
ran
weren't
in.
back wounds. They could have come from through
Right.
the other side. But either
Yeah.
way.
That's why there wasn't that much blood.
Yeah.
They,
That's
they also
right, yeah.
suggested
It
he
was all
could.
the way through.
They also suggested he could affect their perception somehow. They're saying the possibility of these other beings can block you from seeing them while they're doing it or something.
Oh,
That's why
like that.
Scotty
Yeah.
was blacking out.
And he said, I touched something. It was cold.
Somebody?
No, something.
Right. So he had left the body and was blocking Scotty.
Yeah.
Being no. I loved the in the panel shot. We don't get those very often.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
right.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That was so lovely. He's like, hi, Mr. Spock.
And then my
Let me
last
get down in here.
my last note, I thought it was completely ridiculous that we're going to occupy the computer by telling it to calculate pi.
Oh,
It
still
doesn't
pi.
already know. Okay, pi. We're not going to devote the whole system's resources.
You tried that before?
Yeah.
It's not going to work?
No.
Yeah, it's like...
No.
Well, not only that, it's just computation. It doesn't make any sense. Well, their perception of how computers work back then, of course, would have been at play
Sure.
because it shouldn't. There should have been the computer should be able to multitask that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it were just doing one single math computation, shouldn't keep we have to keep devoting resources and it's the way they're viewing memory and a bunch of other
Right.
things.
Yeah, that was another cheap way out because it's like, you've just told us it runs the entire ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does all these things. I'm sure that
Yeah.
one thing is not going to be the thing.
Especially such a simple math equation.
Right.
Yeah.
And I liked how he had to be like, as you know.
Uh-huh.
It's an infinite number.
He Kirk explained again.
And
Or Spock explained.
that could have been one of those TV
Audience
executive
things.
notes where it's like, these
pi?
dumb country bumpkins won't know what pi
Yeah.
is. You
What's
need
pi?
to explain it to them.
60s again too. Who knows?
What other notes do you guys got?
I had stripper fashion. I talked about that.
Oh, we didn't do fashion yet. Do fashion.
Fashion. The stripper fashion was something. It was strippers, essentially. They weren't stripping.
They were exotic dancers.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, I loved.
It was a hot scene. It was a hot dance.
I loved the prefect and his wife's hair.
Yeah.
I thought they were great.
Oh,
She
yeah.
looked so cool. I
Mm.
loved
Yeah.
her whole outfit.
Yeah.
Just so you know, before we get to it, you're allowed to pick same gender for hottest
Oh, yes.
Oh,
person of the
good,
episode.
because she was better looking than
That's what
We
Colleen
don't have
does.
any restriction. Yeah, Colleen
Yeah.
does it a lot.
Yeah.
If you're just oh god, I would go gay for that. That's cool.
I don't know about that, but her whole outfit.
Or if you're that person's fabulous, I want to be them. That's cool too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought I think that's all I. The father of the girl and the guy who was in love with it, they both looked like they were from a gypsy, some kind of gypsy thing. They were dressed
Yeah,
like
I
they were
like that.
gypsies.
Yeah. That was my first thought when it
Yeah.
opened on her dancing.
Yeah.
I
Oh
like
yeah,
She's
yeah,
a
yeah.
gypsy, but
I
I
like
like a skirt.
The husband had the little emblem on.
Oh yeah.
And then him with the cape, he looked like he dropped out of a Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
I was like, what are
Well, I
Where are you
didn't think of it
coming
as an
from?
emblem. I thought of it as a decorative brooch
Well,
for the
yeah,
leader.
there
of
you
it.
So that's what I had on fashion.
Alternate episode.
So everyone's stoned on the Enterprise, so Spock's like, screw it, I'm going down to Argellis floor. So Spock goes down there, because...
He's gonna find out what the women are so.
Well, when Kirk's like, the women are so, and Spock's just looking at him, I mean, Spock likes women.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even though he said some terrible things about him in other episodes.
And this one.
I think my alternate
Yeah.
episode for Kirk,
Yeah.
where he's like, I'm not going down, but I know where all the attractive yeomen hang out.
That
They're
are-
high
that are-
right now.
That's what I
Oh,
thought was gonna happen because
no.
the girl walked by and he was like, "I'll stay here."
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, "Wait a second!" But then a bunch of other people walked by too.
Oh, we've
and I
had
was
other
like,
episodes where we
okay.
found out he has slept with crewmen.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
and when they all get stoned, it was weird.
Although-
It's before this, but it's right after the serious. They leave the courtroom.
Yeah.
There's a crew member walking behind those two, and she is just smiling. I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody told her that they're not stoned yet. That's what because I was like, why is she so happy?
But yeah.
I mean, she's probably just happy, like, I'm on screen.
I was
I'm
noticed
Star
her in the
Trek.
blue.
Yeah.
And she's waving. I will say, I think it's important to note, because we just said something about Kirk going after Yeoman. He's not a Harvey Weinstein. We've never once seen him trying to take advantage. It's always a
Tries-
woman that's interested.
Right.
So, as creepy as Kirk is for sleeping with all those people, at least he only does it consensually, and he doesn't use his power to force women into bed.
Who was the one he... Was it-
The show's sexist, but it's not sexual assaulty. Not our heroes, anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
Unless it's a plot device.
Was it
What?
Squire Gothos where he looks at the girl's cleavage? What episode was it where they beam back up
Uh-huh.
and the yeoman or whatever is in an outfit that shows her cleavage and you
He
just get the
appreciates
long,
it.
slow look. I can't remember if it was...
So that's inappropriate. But
Yeah.
in general, he does not use his position
No.
to get women into bed.
No.
He only sleeps with
Right.
strong women who are definitely interested.
There are definitely a lot of them were Starfleet women, but
Yeah.
they're usually he slept with them when he was younger.
Yeah.
And they want to...
And they're
They
intelligent
weren't that
women.
bad.
They're not the bimbos of the crew.
Yeah.
Like, if he sleeps with them, that person knows their stuff. It's not like...
I thought that person knows they're slept with.
No, but it's like a
You
science.
just got slept with.
It's like a scientist or a doctor. It's not like the
Right.
fresh yeoman that doesn't have the experience.
Right.
Like he never was interested in Rand.
Right.
She lusted after him, and he's like, "You're a yeoman. You're not worth it."
Good.
Well, it was his
Too-
yeoman, so
too much
he...
of a disparity.
Right. No, he doesn't do that.
Difference
He
in
was
Rand.
not a Weinstein. That's important to note.
Good. Don't be a Weinstein.
I thought
No
also, speaking of things stealing from Star Trek, both times Scotty, the first two times he wakes up, he's got the knife,
Yeah.
and he keeps saying, I don't remember. Reminded me of in Godfather Part 2 when they set up Senator Geary, and he wakes up, and,
Oh, yeah.
and the girl's been stabbed to death, it's all bloody and everything, and we were laughing. She was laughing. That's all I can remember. I can't remember anything else. I know her, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, very similar.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and
Mm-hmm.
say Star Trek was probably not the first series to do that.
Probably not.
I can't give you a
Probably
specific
not.
example, but my feeling is that was not.
It
created
did
for
remind me of
episode.
that, though.
Yeah.
I did read this is the longest courtroom scene, or the courtroom scene is like 16 minutes of the show,
Really?
and that's the longest scene in the
It
entire
didn't
run.
seem that long. It was moving.
Yeah, that's what I read. Is that it's 16 minutes, or they're in there for 16 minutes? Or whatever.
Long, but Menagerie and Court Martial, they were in there for a long time.
Yeah, they must have done cutaways or something, but I think they don't here.
Yeah, Family Guy style cutaways.
Yeah, and then my last note was
Flashbacks.
when at the end when they're talking about going down to the planet, and Scotty says, "Let's go see." That's also sampled for an Information Society song, but I don't know
Oh.
what song. But it's another song on that album that
So not the other one, not the pure energy.
not pure energy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's
it's another
funny.
one. But I should have found the song, but I didn't. So I can't sing 7 seconds of it.
What?
Why?
Yeah, Keith.
A couple sciencey things, I guess. What was the thing? Well, you already talked about the pie thing, which I thought was just
Ridiculous.
yeah. They continue the trend of working with those floppy disks a lot now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
Those are
Tran-
so bad.
transferring information to the captain's chair from the disk. I think that's the first time we've seen them use it in the actual chair, right?
I didn't think anything
And
of that in the 80s or early 90s when I watched it, and now I'm like, they got the technology so wrong.
Yeah.
But
And,
yeah, he uses it. They put it in
Yeah.
the lie detector.
Right. That
Uh,
too.
I was
Like,
like, is that like his base biological?
We've seen
Right.
them
I
do
think
that
so.
in other
So
courtrooms.
they
They don't have
Yeah.
to do like,
Yeah.
what's your name?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. I
Give
guess
us a
that's
lie.
what it is.
It's got their medical profile.
The basics. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've seen that in other courtroom episodes of the series.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So oh yeah, on the lift, it looked like the lights were going sideways through the windows.
They do.
Like
Turbo lifts aren't elevators. They move all
Yeah.
directions.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, I was
that's
wondering
pretty cool.
if it was like a Willy Wonka glass
Yeah.
elevator type.
Willy Wonka copy? No, just kidding. But yeah, no, they don't just go up and down.
That would crack me up though. When he's like, "Oh no, the free fall."
I do think it's ridiculous. They're like, it took over the computer. Let's get an elevator that's
Right.
run by the computer.
Right?
Like, I'd
Take
be
the
climbing
stairs.
the ladder.
Take the stairs.
There's
And
no
then-
stairs, but I'd be climbing the ladder.
Was it like the door tried to shut on Spock or something? Because
Yeah.
when they got in the elevator, he's like, "Mr. Spock."
Yeah, it was. The
I
door
was like,
shut.
what did I miss? What just happened?
You know,
But
this
yeah.
is distracted by doing one computation. It can't control the elevators. and get things, so. I mean, I guess the entity itself might not be clever enough to. But no,
They
no,
should
that
have.
still didn't,
What they should have done is ask the computer to calculate if Nicolas Cage is a good actor or not. That would have kept it going.
or defining love or something. But I hate you. You love hate,
Right.
love hate, love
Yeah.
hate.
But was it like the thing? The handles? Was it like an oh shit handle? Like
Oh,
in
no.
your car? Like what
They-
were these things?
Yeah, the original series they always hold the handles.
Okay. Safety first.
I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
I love that we have a new person coming in, like bringing up all these things that we take for granted. They're
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, they just always do that. Oh, okay, that matters that they do
I
that.
was like, what are these handles?
Yeah.
for?
No, the original they have to grab it and turn it to move,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is
Like, what's
it's
this?
like old school elevator, like when you had the elevator operator. You know, that's to move the handle.
Crank.
Yeah, which doesn't make a ton of sense.
No.
But
Yeah.
Again,
not
the way they view
hundreds of
technology
years
at the
in
time, it's kind of funny how those things kind of carry forward as though
I mean, a
it'll
lot
never
of
be
the
any better than
things-
this.
Yeah.
A lot of the things technologically that we've now got that Star Trek predicted, they didn't really predict. It was a bunch of Star Trek fans grew up and invented them.
Yeah.
Like the flip cell phone or tricorders are
The
close to being
personal
reality.
computer
They're
that
working
they
on
had.
they're working on the transporters right now. And I'm like, all of these things were not necessarily Star Trek predicting. It was us copying what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Gene Roddenberry just in developing the transporter was such a stroke of genius. That was the one thing that he did not base in scientific evidence. He's just like, we can't afford to show the shuttle land every week or
Right.
the ship land, so we're going to do this thing that's much cheaper.
Huh.
Transporter
I'm-
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read articles about this.
That they're
That
doing
it's
it.
like-
yeah.
Yeah.
The concern, or like the conundrum, I guess,
Yeah.
is: are you the same person when
Right.
you've been
Because it
named,
essentially kills you.
or are you
Yeah.
dead at a different person?
Right.
Yeah, I think we're
Like-
centuries away from the possibility of a personal transport, but to move cargo and food and stuff,
Yeah.
that could be really
So
useful.
it's like
Yeah.
the prestige question.
Yeah, just to get rid of
Is
shit.
it the real Hugh Jackman, or is it the dead Hugh Jackman?
Well, when Amazon gives us 15-second delivery in the transporter, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be abused.
Yeah. Oh,
I
absolutely.
just
Yeah,
keep
it'll
thinking
be-
the
it'll
hacking
be-
angle all the time for smart homes and all.
Terrorists just
so.
beam a bomb right into your
It'll be
living
10
room.
minutes before
Don't even. Oh my.
before someone tosses a person in there to see what happens.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, that
Yeah.
too.
Or a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Little kids growing up like that, it's
I tested
how they
dog.
start.
That's how they did it on The Enemy Within. Remember that episode?
Yeah, they tested with the
out
dog.
a dog.
That's season 1 episode.
That's
He
what
died.
we do, Jen.
Yeah, the dog did not survive.
Well, yeah, it was the first animal in space was a dog.
Any other episode or notes?
Oh, just his, everyone, this is your captain. Please remain calm.
Oh,
And at
perfect.
your stations.
Yeah.
In transmission. Done.
Please,
Yeah.
please put your
Like-
tables in an upright position.
More information, please. Nothing. Just.
If you look out to your right, you'll notice the Crab Nebula.
the ground coming up to us as we land.
I like that they at least mentioned this was another cloud creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we never saw a cloud.
It's
it
gaseous.
Yeah.
Was it continuity? Was it actually referring to an earlier episode? The thing we
I'm
were
not
talking about?
sure.
I think so, but
when
he,
Kirk
he
was like, I've
mentioned
encountered
one.
it before,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure that was for a specific episode.
Yeah. I don't
I mean,
think
he
it was.
named the thing,
Right.
so I can't
Yeah,
remember what
I
the names
feel
of them
like
were.
I feel like they should have used a real one since we have examples, and instead they gave them a one we haven't seen.
Yeah.
So you know that wasn't a name that was repeating from something.
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I didn't
If
think
you
it-
know, email trek@iabdpresents.com. Or any comments. We'd love to hear from you at trek@iabdpresents.com. Men, women of Star Trek. Woos. Young Atkins.
I am going to Yeoman Tankris. I loved her. She reminded me a lot of my wife, Colleen. The look she gave them when they said the thing about women or so, I was like, that's Colleen. Just like, mm-mm. And then also like Colleen, when they all get stoned, she was partying. So so she seemed like a lot of fun. Even when the evil spirit gets in the body and is holding a knife to her, she's like, whatever, dude. I'm here to party.
Even before she opened her mouth, I was already choosing her.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeoman Tankress
Yeah.
for me as well.
Yeah.
Keith, can I predict that you're going to go with Cybo?
No, I'm still committed to that planet and that the cloud creature that speeding off my emotions. I can't
Are you
really-
doing it for real, or because continuity-wise you think you have to stay on the planet with the cloud creature?
It was a commitment. I have to honor that.
You have to stay with Merge Tenford?
Yes.
Sometimes we make changes when it's not really necessary to make changes just because we've had the same one for a while and we're like, oh, we should change it up. So you
I
can't.
wish I could.
Or not.
That's
Yeah,
just,
Well, since McCoy's forearms were covered in this episode, I'm gonna go with the lady, the wife of the diplomat.
Sybo? Sybo?
She was
SYBO?
cool.
She had great
She
hair.
was cool, the psychic.
Oh, she was awesome.
Yeah.
Her outfit. top
If
to
Yeoman
bottom.
Tankress wasn't in this, I probably would go with her. Yeah, for sure. I mean, as tempting as it is to go with Kara the dancer, I
Yeah.
feel like she didn't have the substance that some of these other women characters had. We had
Well,
quite
there's
a
that
few
other
women
place
with
on the
substance
planet,
for a
though.
1960s episode in this.
If you go to that other place on the planet, the women there have so much substance.
They're
so.
so substantial.
Yes.
Or maybe it's so like the audience can feel in what's the trait?
Yeah,
When you'd be
it's
like,
one of those
"Oh,
where everyone has their
I'm
own
there."
perception. The women are so man-like, whatever.
They're so actually bad.
Exactly.
Next week, we are going to do another episode.
What?
What's
This
next?
is how I stall because I didn't have my IMDb.
Oh, we
ready
didn't
yet.
we didn't rate this one either yet, did we?
Oh, I'm sorry. Good call. Where do we want to rank this episode?
You know, halfway through, I was not agreeing with you that this was better than Obsession, but the last half was just entertaining. I was just,
Yeah.
So we're going above Obsession.
I'm gonna go. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with
Friday's
that.
Child.
There's something clunky.
Friday's-
about that, and I can't put my finger on it.
Friday's
There's all
Child
this
is better
stuff in it.
constructed.
Yeah,
I think I enjoyed this one more.
that's where I come down as well.
Mhm.
I would not put this above the Deadly Years. I don't think. Deadly Years just makes you think.
Pressing. Yeah, I could go with that. Above Friday's Child.
Yes. Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like the concept in this better.
Jess, do you at least think this was better than Obsession?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we will next be discussing The Trouble with Tribbles.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
So
just
join
the-
us next week. So yeah, next week we'll be discussing the very popular fan favorite, The Trouble with Tribbles, the
Alright.
comedy episode.
Yes,
That's just wonderful. It's so good.
it's a classic.
Audio quality might be a little rough. We'll see because we did that one live. But
Yeah.
we have some additional guests. We will welcome
yeah.
back longtime contributor who has not appeared in season 2, Amanda Ivan.
Yeah.
We've got Keith's wife, Marianne.
I forgot about that.
I
Nick
don't remember who
Argenbright.
else
I
is
think
in
Nick
it.
was there.
Nick
I
was
think.
there? Nick Argenbright
I think
came
so,
back.
Yeah.
So we got some additional guests
Yeah.
to join us for Trouble with Tribbles that we have not recorded, that we have booked. Because totally we do these in order right before they come to you.
We do these in order the same way the Star Trek episodes were produced. And they're in the same order.
Well, when we need to do a live episode, we went with the popular one. I'm sorry.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So join us for that. Shout out to our podcast editors, David Huff and Ando Schaefer. Thank you very much for making us sound better and not making us do the editing anymore. And please go to patreon.com/IABD if you want more great programming and new shows. We've had a lot of people suggest other rewatch podcasts we should be doing, but we don't have time right now. However, if you want to contribute to our Patreon, we might be able to carve out some time. So contribute, and we'll see if we can make some more content for you.
Well, this is more. You go ahead first.
Oh, I was gonna say we're all gonna head to a place where the women are so.
So live long and prosper.
I was going to just remind everyone in the meantime to just remain calm.
Yeah. Stay
Out.
at your station.
And done. Yes, that's it. No information, just remain calm.
Let's go see.
I'm bringing my towel.
Nice.